Welcome back to Seen It Before, where we're probably going to say something stupid about your favorite movie because we've seen it all before. I'm Danny.
Are you trying this?
What? Well, I'm trying something new. I'm trying to be
Yeah,
like...
you're trying something new. Try something new, yeah.
Try something new. This is exactly what Michelle Obama told us to do. You know, try something new. Get active, right? Is that what's her, right? She had the whole campaign where, like, get active and shit?
She did, yeah.
All right.
Well, let's keep going. So, I'm Dan. Who are you?
I'm Danny. I already said it.
I didn't hear you.
I said, you've seen it all before. I'm Danny.
Oh, my God.
Oh, this is already a train wreck.
I know, I love it.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween month. It's not Halloween yet.
Yeah, true.
Yes. We should probably drink some H20 because that's what we're watching.
Shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. If you haven't guessed, we're doing Halloween H2O, which is
20 more years later. 22, 3, 4 more years later.
So that's an interesting thing. When the 2018 version obviously was 40 years after the first one.
Yes.
They were going to call it H40 in reference to this movie. But
I hate that.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did not
Well,
do that.
okay, so it was supposed to be H20, but then there was just like H2O, and it just became the meme. You know, and now it's this
I don't
thing.
mind H2O. It kind of works, but
I don't know. So when I first heard it, I'm just like, wait, like you're talking like the Mermaid Show, you know, with the Cleo, you know, like the Australian.
pretty sure that came out after the movie H2O.
Yeah, but like I was a fucking kid. That's what I fucking knew, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So this movie is one of my favorite Halloween like franchise movies. I think it's one of the better ones compared because you haven't. I don't think you haven't seen all of them, have you?
I haven't seen all of them. I've only seen 1, 2, H2O. Oh no, 1, 2, 3, H2O, the Rob Zombie ones, and the new trilogy.
Okay, so you haven't seen the Thorn trilogy where we get into the really murky water.
No.
So you've seen
I've
like
heard
Season of
things.
the Witch?
Huh?
You seen like the one that's not related to Michael Myers?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Oh, and of course we saw.
Halloween Kills.
Yeah, we saw the other one last year. We watched last year. Michael Myers Goes to New York or whatever.
Dude, that's Jason takes Manhattan.
Oh.
Why does everyone? I'm going to get a small tangent. Why does everyone, including my producer right now, they always get Jason and Michael Myers mixed up? Friday the 13th is not Halloween. I don't get it.
We watched it at Halloween last year.
Two completely different franchises. Like, I don't get it.
Oh.
I don't know, whatever.
Okay, well, before you actually kill me and stab me in the face with a knife, let's get to it. All right, so let's get right to this movie right now. So Laurie has a son in this kind of movie here.
Yeah.
And the new trilogy, she has a daughter. So
Josh
are there
Hartnett.
different universes with Halloween?
So I should probably break down the different timelines of the Halloween franchise. So obviously Halloween 3 Season of the Witch takes place completely outside of its own timeline. It's its own thing. Then Halloween 1, Halloween 2, Halloween 4, 5, and 6 are one continuity.
Okay.
So in that one, after Halloween 2, Laurie has a daughter named Jamie.
Of course she does.
And then she has her own adventure, and it's the Thorn trilogy. They try to explain Michael's backstory. It's awful. Then they said, okay, fuck it, we're going to reboot this shit. So then they ignored 4, 5, and 6 to create this movie, H2O, which only takes the first two in consideration, Halloween 1 and Halloween 2. Mm-hmm. Then they said, which we'll get to this, they decided to keep it going into Halloween Resurrection. So that's the other timeline. And then after Resurrection bombed, they're like, okay, fuck it. We're going to reboot this shit like completely.
With Rob Zombie.
Rob Zombies. So Rob Zombie did Halloween, which in my opinion, I enjoyed it a little bit. I like the backstory. The first one. Halloween 2 is an abomination and should not be watched by anybody for the rest of time.
We should watch it.
No. Like if we're still doing movie drunks, maybe. I would tear that movie to fucking shreds. Then Halloween 2 obviously bombed because it's an awful abomination to nature. And then they said, then they just kind of like let everything die down until
Like 10 years.
Yeah, 10.
Maybe 8. I think it was 2010 the second one came out.
Something like that. I don't know.
It was like mid 2000s.
2018 rolls around and they're like, okay, we've done a bunch of bullshit with this franchise. Let's just consider the first one. That way we can have our cake and eat it too. We can get rid of the whole, we can explain our own backstory for why, or Michael's motivation. So they just considered the very first 1978 version, created the 2018 version, and now we're currently in this trilogy.
David Gordon Green to
David Gordon
give
Green.
us our cake.
Right.
Yes.
So that's where we are now. And what, obviously, if anyone listened to our Halloween Kills podcast
Last year,
I think, were we still movie drunks at that time? I forget.
yes.
Yeah, but anyway, so I loved that movie at the time, and now I've grown to like, I still like it, but
Still
it's,
only seen it once.
oh, you really? I've seen it like 3 times, but so it's okay.
Well, at the end of this episode, we're going to preview Halloween Ends, so stick around for that if you want to hear our little opinions on what might happen. Let's get to this movie, H2O.
Water.
So, as I said, Laurie has a son and all that stuff. There's that Loomis line in the beginning. That was nice. I liked that.
Yeah.
I liked the whole speech he had. Oh, the 15 years ago thing, whatever.
Yeah, I like that quote so much. I made a tapestry and I put it in my room. It's like that quote
still
from
there?
the script. Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah, freak Sepp out every night.
oh my god, Jesus. So then she's a headmaster at a school.
Yes.
Like a co-ed school. Is it like a high school? It's a high school?
It's like a private
school?
school in California.
Yeah,
and she goes by the name Carrie Tate.
Yes.
So she's trying to escape what happened to her in the first 2 movies with the, Michael Myers coming after her.
Yes. And I was confused on this until I read something about it, but how the fuck did Michael Myers know where she was? Apparently he stole stuff from Loomis, I guess.
So
Right?
in the opening, we don't know how he survived Halloween 2.
No.
He just kind of shows up in H2O.
Yep.
And he tracks down Marion, whatever the fuck her name is. I forgot. I've got her name. She was the nurse in the first one that was driving with Loomis to go pick up Michael. And then she got attacked in the car, and she survived. Loomis obviously is dead in this one because he died. Donald Pleasance died in 95. So his last Halloween credit is Curse of Michael Myers. So in this one, the nurse has all these documents and all these newspaper clippings where she's tracked down Laurie to keep kind of an eye on her. And Michael Myers is like, well, there it is, So now his mission after killing her and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, which is weird being in this movie.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, now his mission is to go track down Laurie or Carrie Tate in California now. So that's how he finds it out.
Yeah, they come up with so many references there are in like kind of Psycho in this movie because Janet Leigh is also in this movie, her mother. Because like there's the car from Psycho.
Yep.
There's the theme in the background from Psycho. It's just her talking about a shower being clogged.
Yeah.
And her name is Carrie Tate.
Oh,
like
I
Sharon
didn't.
Tate.
Oh, I didn't get that one. Yeah,
That's the one I caught immediately. I'm like,
yeah. So well, obviously Kevin Williamson is the writer and no, he's not the director. Phil Rosenthal did this one. No, not Phil Rosenthal.
no, it was
Rick Rosenthal.
Are you talking about the director?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It's not?
Here, it's I remember I looked at who it was.
Who was it?
It was Steve Miner.
Steve Miner. Interesting.
Yeah.
Whatever. But so Kevin Williamson is the writer. He also did Scream, and he did Dawson's Creek. That's why this movie kind of feels like
literally both those two had a baby.
yeah.
and
It's like
have
this
Michael
is
Myers in it.
yeah. So
It's a product of his time for sure.
yeah, he's a big fan of calling out references to other horror movies. That was like the kind of the style of like the Scream era, 96 to like 2000. So yeah.
Yeah. And this is something that is completely off topic from Halloween. I just watched 8-Legged Freaks last night for a movie club we have at work. So
What is that movie? I've never heard of
it's
it.
spiders, big spiders, and Scarlett Johansson, young Scarlett Johansson.
Okay.
So speaking of her, I just realized like the sarcasm of Jamie Lee Curtis and Scarlett Johansson are very similar. I wonder if she takes inspiration from her because they have very similar sarcasm styles.
I mean, maybe.
Like especially in 8-Legged Freaks in this, like she's like this bratty kind of
Yeah.
bitchy character, but like it comes off as that, but like it's.
I always liked her in Freaky Friday, where she's like pretending to be Lindsay Lohan. So she's being like a brat in that movie too.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Come on, on, Paul. Like, even in real life.
Well, there's a line in this movie I was going to say that Jamie Lee Curtis says is that like, oh, he killed her with a big kitchen knife or something like that. Like very
a big kitchen, yeah,
like a big kitchen knife. And then it's like the same exact way I could perceive Scarlett Johansson saying that. I'm just like, oh my God. Anyway.
Yeah. But even in real life, Jamie Lee Curtis is like she's doing press for Halloween Ends. She's like, so like I guess she said something where like she was premiering or watching the premiere of Halloween Ends, and some usher was telling her not to record the movie, and she's like, I'm gonna pirate my own fucking movie. Like she's fucking in it. Like, so she should have said that on a talk show. But yeah, she's very much like, that's why we love her.
Yeah. Speaking of a talk show, in a 2018 interview with Variety magazine, I guess, she said H20 started out with the best intentions to make this movie, but it ended up just being a cash grab altogether.
Yeah, that's what it usually happens, Well, because like this movie, obviously the ending is very definitive, and then they still find a way to get more money out of it with Halloween Resurrection.
And that's what I really hope with Ends. It actually is just done. Stop. End it.
Yeah.
Like, it's been almost 50 years. Just end it. It's fine.
No, yeah, I get
had
that.
a good run.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, there's 5 different timelines. Like,
Just don't give Rob Zombie the reins again.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, what are the things you got to say about this movie? So,
I mean, well, like I said, this is one of my favorite ones because I think it does justice to Laurie's character. Kind of barring, like, I like it was a smart idea to completely erase 4, 5, and 6 from canon in this continuity, because it would have just been way too messy. Like Michael Myers being controlled by a pagan god, and like he's like, it's a pagan god of anger or something like that, or he's like, it's controlled by a cult, and he's like the henchman for it. It's stupid. I like him just being evil, and
or even just a ghost. If he was like a ghost, it would make sense the way he teleports and everything.
Maybe that's not like that.
It would make a little more sense.
It's better than the Thorn theory, but
yeah.
But yeah, like Laurie, she's an alcoholic. She has a failed marriage, which is pretty on point for like someone with a big traumatic experience like that to survive such a horrible night like that. And she's overprotective of her son, which is, it's all in line with what you would expect. And I just like how it's a change of scenery. Because it all takes place on this campus, which isn't like the best thing in my opinion. I think Halloween excels when it's like part of the neighborhood, like suburban horror, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, you have likable characters. Even LL Cool J is okay in it.
Yeah, I like LL Cool J in it.
You have Josh Hartnett. You have
he wasn't that great.
You didn't like him? I thought he was okay.
Kind of stale.
Really?
I don't know. I didn't believe he was a 17-year-old.
I get that. Well, that was like the way how it was back then. Like, you had like 30-year-olds playing 15-year-olds.
It still is that way. What are you talking about?
Yeah, true.
Just look at Riverdale.
Oh God, Riverdale. I'm not even gonna give that show a shot. Yeah. So, and it honors the lore of Halloween, and I mean, they did their best at doing a definitive end to it. And they even kind of commented on the relationship between Laurie and Michael, where like, because in this continuity they're siblings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but they got rid of that in the new continuity. Yeah. So now they're not. But so this is kind of a good bookend to that story, and like, in the first 2 Halloween movies, Laurie is sure she's the final girl, but she's not taking agency over her situation. Like she is just kind of running away from stabbing him and running away and Loomis comes in at the end and saves her. And then the second one, Loomis does the same thing. So in this one, I like that she's kind of sticking up for herself. She's like telling her son, being protective, is like, go away. I'm going to handle this. And there's this awesome, like kind of crane shot where she's calling Michael out. She's like, Michael!
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like a wide shot, and she's like got the axe
cameras
with
and
her.
everything, yeah, because she was seeing him at one point before that happened too, and then her boy toy showed up. So, yeah.
So it's like in a bunch of different ways, it comes full circle where she has an arc where she's taking control of the situation. So like more or less the taking control of your abuse cycle, right? If that's what
trauma.
Yeah, the trauma.
There's also a lot of symbolism with trauma in this movie.
Yeah.
And
it's great.
It's followed her, and it's back.
Because it does follow her, yeah.
Yes. And her character is very well written in this movie.
Yeah.
Her son, okay. He's written okay.
I can understand.
Other people, not so much.
There's a couple lines that he says where like, it's like, Mom, like Michael Myers isn't going to come kill us. Or like something like that. Yeah. Or like, it's a weird delivery, so I get it.
Yeah.
Who else? I mean, I didn't really love anybody else in the movie, but it's weird. They expand a little bit. It's not like they're like red shirts, they're not just there to get killed. So you get like a little bit of like, the other couple, like their relationship.
And
you get that like they're all friends and stuff,
Yeah, you see a pretty gruesome, elevator thing come down her leg.
Oh yeah, the leg, the close-up shot. Yeah. Yeah, so like there's not that many kills in this movie. There's only I think there's literally only 2, and then there's a fake out one with LL Cool J.
I hated that. That is the one thing I really hated about this movie. Like, how does he survive that?
I think it was because you always kill the black guy, right?
Yeah, I guess. And
he's LL Cool J. How can you kill LL Cool J?
You could say that, yes. But like, that's a lot of blood for not being dead.
Yeah, right.
Like, dude, just skin me. What?
Yeah,
like when he showed up, like, no way,
yeah.
no fucking way.
But yeah, it's a nice contained little thing. It's a lot of build up until like I think like the hour mark. Yeah. And then the last half hour is just, everything's happening. And they have a showdown. I remember like the coolest part, I think, is like the showdown with Laurie where she's like up in she kicks him off the balcony or something, and he lands on on a bunch of tables.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not sure if it's like a church. It was like a cafeteria maybe.
Yeah.
And then she's kind of like hiding under the tables and crawling underneath. That was like a really cool sequence.
That was cool. Like, he just walking on top of the tables and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the story that's being told, but almost everything else, I don't know.
I mean, it's typical with like a Halloween movie, honestly.
Yeah. Well, for some reason, after the second one, they could just never get the mask right. Like, literally, the first one, the first mask.
It's just the Captain Kirk mask.
I really don't understand it. They sent them in the fourth one. They sent them another Captain Kirk mask, only it had pink skin and blonde hair. So they spray painted it, but the hair was different and the eyes were like really wide. He looks almost Asian. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like he just looks really weird. And then 5, they gave him like a really weird looking nose. Mm-hmm. And then 6, I don't even know what happened. But H2O, the eyes were way too big. So you could see the actors or the stunt actors' eyes.
You could see that too in this
underneath.
one.
Yeah, in this one, yeah, in H2O. So like it takes away from his whole like black void mysteriousness.
Yeah, I mean the new trilogy has been pretty good. With
it's been okay, yeah.
I'd say it's pretty good.
Yeah,
Rob Zombies wasn't bad.
I like the redesign of the mask there, but then in Halloween 2, it's like ripped to shreds, and you can see his face. He says "fucking die," like.
I love how we keep circling back to that movie.
Movie makes me so irrationally angry. But yeah, H2O, like, yeah, it's really shot like it's not. There's really no atmosphere other than that one shot I was talking about.
Yeah.
It's really warm. It's a really warm movie.
They're trying to get to like that fall tone, like that back to school type vibe, the Halloween type vibe.
That's probably it.
Yeah, I got that sense from it. I was like, oh, okay, this works.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt like I don't know. It just feels like a lower production budget. I'm not sure if it was.
I don't think it was.
Yeah, I assume it wasn't.
I don't think it was.
I don't know.
I got a few trivia facts here, so I'm sure you know them all. But Jamie Lee Curtis has played Laurie Strode in 6 different decades.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, that's absolutely crazy.
Well, yes, 70s?
80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s.
What about 2000s? 2002
Yeah.
Resurrection. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, 2010s is 2018, and then 2020. Yeah.
Yep. It's crazy, man. That's
crazy.
That's a wild fact.
Yeah. I mean, that's her most iconic role. So
Yes.
you know.
And who was Charlie again in this movie? Because I'm trying to remember who that was, and I just don't want to look it up.
I believe he's the
I'm just
the
gonna,
friend,
I'm just gonna look it up.
like the best friend, the guy.
An early draft of this script was supposed to be Charlie as Michael Myers. Like, he was the killer. He was the copycat, Michael Myers.
That's dumb.
Yep. He would have turned out to be the offspring of a nurse who was assaulted by Michael Myers.
It's real dumb. Yeah.
Yep. And it's going to be called Halloween, the Son of Michael Myers.
Gross.
Yep.
I hate that.
Yep.
I'm so glad they didn't go with it. Because we've seen what they did with fucking Friday the 13th, where after the final chapter, Jason dies, and then they have a copycat in 5. And they're like, okay, that did not work at all. So then they brought him back in 6 because it's called Jason Lives, you know?
And which is really funny because that's what Scream is.
Yeah.
The newest one especially. Like, it's really funny.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So it's really weird. Once you get like a popular franchise like this, it's just hard to come up with new ideas that aren't shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
It's like a once in a lifetime kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. But overall, this movie it's like a diamond in the rough of like a string of really bad Halloween movies, like
Yeah.
up until that point. But it's also a product of its time, which shows like, the Dawson's Creek era and the Scream vibes.
Right.
So it doesn't really hold up as well in today's
Yeah.
market and viewership and everything.
It's kind of
Overall, I think it's like a 79 to me.
79.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I get it. It's kind of sad what happened to the Halloween franchise. It started off on such a great note, and then right off the bat, like John Carpenter didn't want to do the second one, so he was like really drunk writing the script. So that's why it's like it's still good, but it's not like good. It's not John Carpenter Halloween good, you know. And then the franchise just got put into obscurity for a little bit, and then it lost its groove. Then by this point, when H20 comes out, Scream changed the game. Mm-hmm. So now they're like, instead of being the influencers, they're taking influence from other franchises, which they shouldn't do. Halloween's got to be itself, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why horror like just got kind of schlocky and like just like MTV Freddy, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I'm glad we're in like back in the sort of in the saddle with like it being its own thing, but then also these movies the new movies like to do social commentary about like mob mentality and shit. Like it just doesn't work.
We're gonna get to that in just a few minutes, but yeah.
So, but Halloween hasn't like really been itself since the first one, truly. You know,
Unfortunately,
I'd say Nightmare on Elm Street is probably the best solid franchise, but like
out of the 80s slasher ones,
the classic 80s slasher horror movie villains, Nightmare on Elm Street is probably the best all around. But I think Halloween, the first one, stands head and shoulders above any of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. That's why it's my favorite franchise. So like I never get tired of watching Michael Myers on screen, but I can understand why you would see like this whole franchise is kind of a train wreck. It is. Friday the 13th is an anomaly. I do not understand that one. I don't think there's a single good movie in that
Jason
entire
Takes
franchise.
Manhattan. What are you talking about?
Do you remember that podcast?
Yes.
I'm like, I had fond memories of like when like, oh, I watched this as a kid. It was all right. He takes over New York City. He kills a bunch of people. An hour and 20 minutes of just on a boat fucking around, and then 10 minutes of like he drowns that guy in a fucking trash can with like toxic. It was so dumb and it was so boring. Don't watch any Friday the 13th movie.
Well, wouldn't say that. The first one's good.
Not even that one.
Okay.
It's not even Jason.
Sucks to be you then.
It's not, you know.
It's all kills for the sake of killing, and that's why I like it. Anyway.
Yeah, okay. There are fun and creative kills, but then at the end of the day, it's just the same movie over and over again.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's why I like Halloween, because like, I mean, it is a basic story, but like you care about the characters, you know? Nightmare on Elm Street 1 and 3 really do that well. You know what I mean? But I'm going on a tangent. Anyway, I should give my grade for this movie. I give it an 83.
Okay.
Because a little nostalgia, and in later years, I've grown to appreciate this movie more, analyzing the rest of the movies in comparison. This one is definitely one of the better ones. You know?
Have we done the first Halloween in this podcast?
We have. It was like our sixth.
That's what I thought. Oh, I
it was like our sixth or seventh episode of
I was
Movie
like,
Drunks.
we better have done it because I'm like, did we do it?
I remember, I think it was Nightmare on Elm Street where like, you guys kept yelling at me because like, it's like I only knew like you guys didn't want to talk about the movie, and then I'm like, I want to talk about the behind the scenes stuff, and you're like, shut up about the behind the scenes stuff. I'm like, what else do you want from me?
I do remember that.
Yeah,
we were a little drunk.
Yeah, it was a long night. Yeah,
it was a very long night. Yeah, so that's our grade on Halloween H20. Now, do we want to preview Halloween Ends?
Yeah, sure.
Give us a recap of the first two.
First two. All right, so everything happens in the 1978 version.
No, I meant
2018. Michael Myers or some stupid podcasters come in. You know, fuck those guys. You know, yeah. They deliver the mask. They awaken the darkness, or the evil in him again, and for some reason they're going to transport him on Halloween night to another facility. Okay, whatever. He escapes. Which we later find out is because his doctor is fascinated by his evil, which is a stupid decision, and releases him and has him, go out and kill everybody on Halloween
as an experiment.
Yeah, Laurie in the meantime has been preparing for this day for 40 years, being a badass fucking, like hermit,
yeah.
Ready for war. So she goes out and she discovers that Michael's free, and she's going to try to kill him. And it's interesting, that movie, they gives us, instead of Michael hunting Laurie, Laurie's hunting Michael now, because it actually kind of reminds me of the latest Andor episode, or as of recording this. It's called The Axe Forgets.
I haven't watched it.
Oh, you haven't? All right. Well, the whole theme, I'm not going to spoil it. The whole theme of it is that like an axe chops down a bunch of trees.
Okay.
The axe forgets the individual trees, but the trees remember the axe. So Michael Myers, in this sense, is the axe.
Okay.
And he ruined Laurie's life, but he doesn't give a shit about her. He doesn't remember her.
She makes him remember her.
Yeah. So that's her whole thing now in this trilogy. So then... she's able to trap Michael after a bunch of series of grisly deaths with her family in her house and burns him to death, where she supposedly thinks she wins. Then in the second one, oh no, firefighters doing their job, stop the fire and rescue Michael because they're just trying to be good Samaritans.
And then they get brutally killed.
Yeah, they get fucked up. You know?
Because starting off with Halloween Kills right there. Yeah, it's
in the name. Halloween Kills.
Yep.
And then basically this movie focuses on the town of Haddonfield
and her daughter
being haunted. Oh yeah, and her daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's Ooh. And yes, the whole thing is the town and not focused on Laurie. And they have like individual stories where they hunt him down now. And still in the theme of the Axe Forgets, where like they remember too. They're haunted the entire time. And so more grisly deaths happen. They corner Michael at the end of it. And it's very much in Halloween 4. They beat the shit out of Michael in a crowd. They make sure it's a spectacle so everyone sees him. And they supposedly kill him, and then Jamie Lee has an awesome monologue where she's like, evil never dies. It always comes back in a new form, blah, blah, blah. And, so Michael was playing possum, and he kills everyone. Mm-hmm. It's all shot in close-up, so you can't really tell exactly how, 5 people with heavily armored did not kill him,
which is fine. I mean,
you gotta explain it somehow, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing. So Tommy Doyle dies, which I forgot his name. It's a three name.
That's right.
He's from Breakfast Club. Anthony Michael Hall. That's it. He did a great job playing Tommy Doyle, and I'm kind of sad to see him go. But you got to kill somebody. So somebody big. And then for some reason they throw Michael Myers killing Karen at the end for I don't know why, just kind of a weird stinger at the end. It could have been done without. I'm hoping it's like
probably just like it's probably going to be talked about in the next one. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to have more repercussions for that one, and then they're just kind of leaving it there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect them to not do that for a reason, especially going into ends.
Yeah.
'Cause my whole thing with this trilogy is I think they had the first and the third planned out, and they had to somehow get there with Halloween Kills.
Yeah, I get
decided
that.
to go on a body count in kills, and then
Right.
they had a start to it, and then they had an end, just not a middle. So
Yeah, I mean, good on them though, because I think going the route of like the town being haunted and them being angry is a good idea. It's just filled with a few moments that are just really stupid. Like, namely the fucking hospital scene.
Yeah, this is some of the controversy around this movie. Yeah,
Yeah. And I will say this.
mob mentality, as you talked about earlier.
Right. If they're trying to do some sort of social commentary about it, it was really bad. It's not going to hold up.
Well,
You know?
I think at least for now,
It's just
it does
cringy,
a little bit.
you know?
It's cringy. Yes, it is very cringy. But
Yeah.
I think they're just trying to make it a product of the times, and I think just kind of try to relate to a new audience. I think in a way, which okay,
I understand that sentiment.
Yeah.
But like, take the George Lucas OG Star Wars route. Make it timeless. He didn't want everyone wanted him to do a disco soundtrack for that movie, and he's like, no, I want this to be timeless. I want it to be good, at any time.
again, first and third planned out. That's kind of where I'm going with that.
Exactly. And
then the whole thing with Jamie Lee Curtis being sidelined the whole movie.
That pissed me off.
In the hospital bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like in the meta, the meta thing where she's the star of the franchise, I'm a little mad that she got sidelined. But in the context of the trilogy, I get it.
Makes sense.
Because she's not the star. She's in fact the one. She's she's forgotten by Michael. Like, Michael doesn't know who the fuck she is.
Exactly.
So it makes sense. I get it. But now we're doing Halloween Ends this year.
Yes, and I haven't seen the newest trailer. I've only seen the first teaser trailer. I don't know.
I haven't seen anything either. So I do know that this jumps in time like 4 years. So to kind of catch up where we are currently in our time,
Have you seen
2022.
the teaser? I thought you saw the teaser.
I saw the one where she's like, this ends tonight, and
I
she
think
comes
that's-
around the corner,
yeah,
and then she has a gun.
Okay, yeah, so we saw that.
I'm a little sad that like it's because Halloween Kills really, it must have killed the hype, because like I don't see any. I've talked to people at work, talked to people that I know that they're just like not excited for this movie like I was for Halloween Kills.
Well, they're also not as big of Halloween fans as you are.
I get it, and the franchise is really old.
Yes.
So
I think there's all the hype around 2018 because it's coming back. Oh shit, and it's continuing off from the first one.
Yeah.
That's a cool idea.
and then they nailed the first one for the most part.
Yeah.
Then Halloween, so the going into Halloween Kills was like, okay, I'm really
That was
excited for this
real
one.
hype. That was
Yeah.
the real hype going into that movie.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it killed the hype for Ends because I have seen stuff about Ends, but I haven't I haven't seen too much hype around it. But I think it'll do steady. If it's really good, the word will get out there and people will go see it. But it also is going to be streaming on Peacock right away. So
Great decision.
That's what Kills did too, though. So
Yeah, you
it's just
don't
unfortunate.
don't do, if you're a big movie, don't do a streaming release at the same time. Like, just so dumb. Like, that's what killed Prey, and it's what killing Hellraiser right
Prey
now.
was good. Prey was real good.
Prey could have done numbers, right?
That's the thing. I think this one might be like Prey. It might actually really do well, and people will actually see it in the theater.
They have to. The one thing they have to do for this movie though is they have to get the ending right. They have to definitively say
Can't be H2O.
Michael Myers is dead, or some plausible reason where he can't come back.
Yeah.
And I don't see it. If they lock him up again,
Okay.
we've already seen that. Like, because then it would just be a remake of 2018, because they know they're going to open the Pandora's box again in 10 years' time. So if this movie is going to live up to the name Halloween Ends, it better end.
It better be right.
Yeah.
Who's writing it though? That's the problem. I don't know who's writing this.
Pretty sure
it is David Gordon Green.
Danny McBride.
Oh, that's right.
I know he wrote 2018.
Which that's so weird.
That is really weird, right?
It's so weird. Hold on, let me see if it's still Dan McBride. I'm sure it is, but
I know David Gordon Green's doing the movie, or he's directing.
yes, Danny McBride, Paul Brad Logan, and Chris Bernier. So there's 3 writers on it.
Oh. Okay.
Chris Bernier did. He also did. What else did he write? He's only written 2 movies. Oh boy.
Oh boy, that's not a good sign.
That's okay. So why is he the top credited writer? I don't like that. He's only done one thing. Oh, David Gordon Green wrote 2. All right. Who's
I don't know.
Who's Paul Brad Logan? What has he written? Okay, only 3 things. Oh boy.
Are they good?
No, I've never heard of any.
Cool.
So the 2 of the 4, I don't have too much faith in. Hopefully they didn't write too much of the story. I hope it was really David Gordon Green and Dan McBride's vision.
I hope they, they didn't take a book out of Disney's playbook and fucking planned this shit out. Had a treatment of something,
Yes.
a direction to go. So,
how many kills do you think are going to be in this movie? Because we got to count them.
I think there's going to be more than 6.
Oh, so we're doing a more than type thing. All right.
I don't know exactly how many. I mean,
Do like a range. 6 to how many? Let's do a range. Not
6 to 8.
6 to 8 kills.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
gonna
because
go-
just think Halloween Kills, I think it had like 20 something deaths in that.
It did.
In 2018, they only had like 4.
I think it's going to be a good middle ground. So 6 to 8, that's a good number. That's a good guess. I'm going to say 8 to 12. I'm gonna go in that range. I'm gonna go a little higher.
Okay.
Watch it both be 8 and be like, oh, we were both right.
Or, what they'll probably end up doing is like they'll have a death per every movie in the franchise, some shit like that.
We should, yeah. We'll have to,
Yeah.
we'll have to make our own trivia. All right. So what else? How many kills?
How long?
Jamie Lee Curtis die?
Oh, that is a good. I don't think she will because
I think she could be an early kill. That's my guess. Ooh. Yeah.
but they gotta give her like a good death, like a respectable.
I think it's going to be a very surprising death, like her daughter.
Yeah.
I think it's going to come out of nowhere in the end of the first act.
The only other death that they've done with Jamie Lee Curtis is in Halloween Resurrection, and it's horrible.
Or maybe she'll be in the first 10 minutes because, you need a shock value within the first 10 minutes of horror movies. That would be a pretty big shock value to have her dead. But
That's gonna really piss off fans, though.
But I also haven't seen the trailer, so I don't know how much she's in the trailer and how much.
So just think about it. Like it would be great shock value, but I'm not saying I would be one of these fans if they do it right. But like after having one movie that's hers, being sidelined for the second one, we're promised this showdown in the third one, and she dies in the first 10 minutes.
Yes,
That's gonna be. It's gonna piss off.
Suck. But I still think it'll be in the first act.
I don't know. I'd have to see it to
Yeah.
I'm gonna rather watch.
So you don't
it
think
first.
she's going to die?
I don't, because the whole thing that they're going for is overcoming your trauma.
Yes.
So if she dies because of said trauma,
Passed down to her granddaughter because her mom died and her grandma died.
if they want to have that theme of like trauma is like a family response,
It's possible.
I don't know.
You see, it's a very bold prediction, but I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with it.
Do you think she's gonna die in the first 10 minutes?
First act.
Okay, first act.
I said it could be the first 10 minutes, but I'm going to say the first act. End of the first act.
I think she's gonna survive. I think they're gonna do another play like H20, where she's the one to take him out.
Okay.
But who knows?
Maybe ends has a different meaning too. Maybe
Well, they're trying to dive in.
evil never dies, and he just keeps going, and then that's how they end it too. It'd suck, but that would be a sucky ending. But it would make sense for them to still continue on, which would make no sense. But to name it ends.
There's really no good way. There's really no good way to do it.
Yeah.
I think the best way they already did was an H2O. She chops off his head, definitive, and even that they fucked it up. Well, no, they didn't fuck up that, but like they brought him back anyway. So
It's hard, man.
it is hard.
Writing's hard. Speaking of writing, haven't you written a Halloween script?
I haven't
tried to.
I haven't written a Halloween script. I've written a treatment for a Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's right. It
reboot.
was at Elm Street.
Right. And So lately I pitched it to a couple people at work, and they're like, it's okay. So
Okay.
yeah. So I respect Halloween too much
To ruin it
to
yourself?
do it. Yeah, I don't think I could live up to because everything's already been done.
I mean,
but I do have
Gordon Green thinks he could do it either. I don't think he could have thought that either when he was your age.
maybe.
So.
I don't know, but I do have I think it's a pretty good idea for Nightmare on Elm Street, and I'll just hint at it. We're like, we don't know what Nancy's dream power is, and I think that dream power, after honing her skill over 40-something years, because in my version she gets locked in a mental institution. She trains herself to lucid dream. Therefore, she can control the dream just like Freddy controls the dream. So she is the ultimate match to him.
I like that.
That's just my idea, and also,
it could be cool.
And then it ends in an interesting way, open to sequels in case, certain,
See, that's what everybody wants to do. They want to keep it open to sequels on these big franchises.
But in this one, it fits. I think it fits.
Okay.
Because it's like they tried to kill Freddy a bunch of times. There's in my version, there's a way that she's able to keep, or that they keep it open to the next movie. But
well, I think that's our take on what Halloween Ends is going to do. Yeah, we're Seen It Before. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok with the handle @SeenItBeforecast. That's SCENE, It Beforecast. And on Twitter with the handle SIB_pod. I'm Dan.
I'm Danny, and you nailed it that time.
I did.
I'm Danny. You can find me on Instagram at Danny_Was, my Letterboxd and serialized at DJ Was, or my YouTube channel, which is just Danny Was. And pay attention next week where we do Halloween Ends.
Yes, next Wednesday, Halloween Ends. This Friday, the movie comes out. We will be watching it at some point. We are very ready to see how this ends. We really hope it doesn't suck. We really hope. Because
like I said,
last year kind of killed the vibe.
Yeah.
And
this is my favorite horror movie franchise.
And these were supposed to film back to back, but they didn't because of the pandemic. And they started filming that, I believe, the beginning of this year, right?
Yeah.
So it's a quick turnaround. This is a very quick turnaround for this movie.
I remember there was one plan where they were going to release this movie or Halloween Kills and Ends a month apart.
Yeah, I do remember that too.
That would have been insane.
That would have been too much.
Yeah.
No,
it would have been like the Black Panther still being in theaters by the time Infinity War came out.
Yep.
So you can see Infinity War before Black Panther, But yeah, it's weird.
Please, David Gordon Green, do us proud. And Danny McBride and the other two writers. But, everyone involved in that movie, we are very excited for this. And we hope you are as well, our viewers. But yeah, until next time, we'll see you.